last race at Nazareth, who lies third in the championship coming into this race. He has managed to eke out the fuel in the slipstream of Bobby Rahal, and he is going to come round to take victory here in Rio. He cruises out of the final corner, and Paul Tracy wins for Penske, wins for Mercedes, and takes his second victory in a row. Amazing.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Maybe that's what he was doing. You know, we saw him quite a lot of the time when you were in the commercial, pulling out towards the end of the straight, which you only do to get cooling. He was running very lean, short shifting it, not using the revs down the straights, and he ran Rahal out of fuel.
Well, there's the story then, after a race that really settled down and was quiet for such a long time. The last two laps, Gilles de Ferran still racing at the moment. Look, Gilles de Ferran still racing because he's been in the pits and come back out, so he's desperate to get round. He was 11th last time as they came round. Tracy, the winner from Greg Moore. Scott Pruitt, Alex Zanardi 4th. Good effort from Zanardi. Brazil 5th. Herta 6th. Unser 7th. Then Blundell in 8th. He's got points. Vassar 9th. Rahal 10th. No, dropping down even further. De Ferran takes 10th.
Spin and win. Tell us first about the spin.
We didn't know the green was coming. I didn't know it was coming, and the tires were cold. Usually try to warm them up on that last lap, and it just caught me out. I jumped on the throttle. I was in 6th gear, and I clicked it down to 2nd and jumped on the throttle and just snapped out on me. So, hey, we came back. Pit stop guys did great job, and Mercedes-Benz got us the fuel mileage that we need to get at the end, and Goodyear tires got us up there. I knew I had to pressure Bobby because he pitted before me. I knew we were light on fuel, and so I knew he'd be worse than I was, and I just tried to push him as quick as we could go, and he ran out of fuel.
Did you think you were going to run out there at the end?
No, I knew we had enough. I knew we had just enough, and because of what we did early on, when I got behind those guys, I saved fuel, and we got a full tank of fuel on our stop, so I knew I had enough fuel. It was going to be marginal if there wasn't that last yellow, but I knew Bobby had pitted before me, and that I knew that, you know, I had to push him hard to make him run out of fuel.
Paul Tracy and Team Penske, they're on a roll. Let's go to Marty Reid.
Yeah, Jan, normally we don't talk to 10th place, but this one deserves it. I gotta tell you, what drama. How'd you feel?
Oh, I don't know how I feel right now. I mean, the car was so good in the race, and you know, we had a little fuel pressure problem, but the engine ran beautifully. I mean, the car was just hooked up, and it was just fun to drive, but everybody was marginal, and we were trying to short shift and do everything we could, and you know, it showed a little bit of fuel left in the tank, but it died coming out of 4, and that was that. I think we had to go for it, because if we'd come in and stopped for fuel, we would have ended up probably right where we are anyway. So I'm just sorry for my guys, because the car was awesome, and I think we led just about all the laps, and I mean, we didn't lead the right one, unfortunately, but you know, I think we showed that we're back, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you feel like going in 2 weeks from now that this team's ready to put it across?
This team, you know, we didn't get off a good start in Miami, but since that time, this team has really come together, and I'm really proud of these guys. And you know, it's just, I was praying, but I didn't pray hard enough, I guess.
Well, Bobby won the Rio 398. Unfortunately, it's the Rio 400.
Absolutely. What you can see his crew member there, Robin, just gutted, I think is the word. Absolutely gutted as Bobby Rahal lost out, and Paul Tracy takes the win. Which saw Paul Tracy snatch the victory from Bobby Rahal, and there you can see the results. Tracy the winner from Greg Moore. It's Canadian 1-2 here in Brazil. Brazilian contingent really didn't have it their way. Raul Boesel was top Brazilian there in 5th position, as you can see. Alex Zanardi had another good run, though, to finish 4th. Alonso Jr. 7th, Marc Blundell 8th, ahead of Jimmy Vasser, Gilles de Ferran. Bobby Rahal 11th in the end, after running out of fuel, after leading virtually the entire race distance. And what a disappointment for him, as we saw just before the break. Parker Johnston finished in 12th place, and therefore the last points scorer. But what that all means is that Paul Tracy has taken over the lead in the championship table, because, of course, Michael Andretti, the former championship leader, was one of the earlier retirements. Let's go and down to the pit lane. No, just waiting for Alex Zanardi. Oh no, we got Greg Moore instead.
Greg Moore is up on the podium as well with a second place finish. We didn't see you too much today, but you stayed out of trouble. You had enough fuel and just gradually worked your way to the front.
Yeah, that was just it. I mean, we were running real strong at the beginning of the race, and I think that today the Goodyears had a little bit more grip than the Firestones. You know, we were good for real long laps, but you know, everyone in the players team did a great job. I mean, we were down for the last couple races, but we're back now, and I'm really looking forward to St. Louis now.
How much confidence and how similar will the setups be?
I don't think they'll be quite any similar to here, but I think we can go there more or less what we ran at Nazareth. You know, Paul and those guys in the Penske team will be awfully tough, but I think the players car will be real tough too.
Would you like to see more ovals like this where you have a lot of braking and downshifting?
I really enjoy this track. I mean, as I'm sure everyone on TV saw, it was just a great race. I mean, a lot of passing, you know, real close running, and it was a lot of fun to drive today.
Congratulations, Greg.
Thank you.
So Greg Moore, who's now moved up into 5th place in the championship with that 2nd place finish today. He was lying in 7th.
Zanardi finished 4th last year on the pole. This one was a struggle though from 26. It was fun to watch, but what were you thinking about there at the end?
Well, this was more or less the kind of position I was hoping to get last night, so we're right on target. But obviously it was a bit disappointed with what happened with the Ferrari because he ran out of gas right in the middle of the corner, and that was very, very unfortunate. I had to brake hard, and Pruett got me simply because he was coming from behind, and he ran a very good momentum through the corner and got both of us. I believe we could have got easily a 2nd place today because Greg Moore was also in big troubles with the gas right at the end of the race, so I would have got it too.
So Alex Zanardi there, a little disappointed, but there you have to say, did a good job from the back of the field there. Zanardi in 3rd place in the championship now, but some 10 points behind Tracy. To the podium, and their confirmation of his lead in the championship now. Scott Pruett in 2nd place, Alex Zanardi in 3rd place, Michael Andretti drops to 4th, and Greg Moore has moved up to 5th position. But Paul Tracy, the winner today, winner of Nazareth 2 in a row after such a lean spell for the Penske team. They really are back on the map. Scott Pruett in 3rd place, scoring once again, and don't forget Greg Moore. Canadians have really done well here today with a 1-2 finish for Paul Tracy and Greg Moore. But disappointment, of course, for Bobby Rahal. Rahal, who ended up finishing down in 11th place after running out of fuel. Well, Robin, we knew that they were marginal on fuel. That was always going to be the case, but it must hurt just as much for Bobby to lose in that last fraction of the race.
Boy, his car was working well in those corners today, and he was fast in the straight as well. It seemed he had a very good balance in the corners and was running relatively low downforce and therefore low drag, so he was quick in the straight. But Tracy did very well. I mean, if it had been a fight to the finish, I think Tracy had a pretty good idea of what was going on. I still wouldn't have put it out of possibility that Tracy would have beaten him anyway.
So that's 12 wins in his career now for Paul Tracy. That's another one added to the tally in 83 races. And as we saw, he's moved up into the lead of the championship table now. 2nd place in the first race in Homestead. Had that crash. Just think what would have happened if he hadn't had the crash with Zanardi in Surfers Paradise when they were battling for the lead there. Didn't have such a good run in Long Beach, finished down in 7th place, but the win at Nazareth and now the win here in Rio really makes Paul Tracy one of the major favourites for this year's championship. But Michael Andretti, Scott Pruett and Alex Zanardi, amongst others, will have plenty to say about that for the rest of the year. Just going through the rest of the results here today. Andretti, a non-finisher, down at 21st. Gugelmin, another disappointing non-finisher after running very competitively throughout the race. Dario Franchitti, last one on the list because he was taken out right at the beginning of the race, remember, in that start incident. Well, Robin, thank you very much for joining me for this Rio race. It's been a delight to have you along. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Pleasure. It's nice having a little bit of motor racing again after 3 years of football.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our coverage here on Eurosport, and don't forget that we'll be bringing you the next race from St. Louis in 2 weeks' time. We'll be there. I hope you can join us then. From Ben Edwards and Robin Hurd, bye-bye.